Welcome back to another World Numismatic Finds breakdown where ordinary pocket change secretly becomes greedy opportunity treasure hunting inside the UK. Today we are unlocking the brutally overlooked United Kingdom 1 penny coins, specifically the 1971 very rusty condition piece, the 1994 dirty condition penny, the 1999 dilapidated condition survivor, the 1990 dirty condition coin, and the 1996 still circulating condition sleeper. Because these exact years are quietly starting to move collectors extremely aggressively in the secondary markets. The reason is simple. The UK penny era of the 70s and 90s is now shifting rapidly from common coinage to historical portfolio assets, and when condition, survival rate, metal wear, odd patina, and unexpected environmental decay combine, these are the exact characteristics that push average-looking pennies into shocking demand spikes and hidden premium valuations UK collectors absolutely adore chasing before anyone else gets there first. Let's get started up with 1971 UK 1 penny coin in very rusty condition today is now shockingly a coin many collectors worldwide are now hunting down more aggressively because this exact very first decimal era penny in circulation form is an emotional direct connect to how British coinage changed forever on the 15th of February, 1971. So in this video, we are talking about a coin which most UK people still think is common, worthless, dead cheap and not worth even thinking about. But the reality now is this exact rusty age-worn circulated 1971 penny is becoming desirable in collector psychology, especially in USA-based numismatic markets, because this is a British penny that represents the start of modern money changeover. And whenever changeover historical periods hit in world coin collecting, demand goes sky-high decades later. This penny holds unbelievable global attention because this one coin touched millions of hands on the very first decimal year, and today rusty ones with honest age, surface patina, environment damage, oxidation, and old world circulation scars are viewed as really powerful storytelling pieces for display collectors. The background of this coin is powerful because in decimalization Britain walked away from centuries of old system and went fully new modern decimal structure, and the 1971 penny became the new normal for the next generations. On the head side portrait you see Queen Elizabeth II facing right, young, sharp, regal, fresh-crowned era portrait, which is now historically valuable because today we view that design from a lens of a historical royal era that has ended permanently. On the tail side, you see the seated Queen Britannia holding shield and trident, which is now completely discontinued from coinage. This alone makes premium interest because Britannia on circulating copper penny disappeared and never came back in the same representation style again. This exact front and back design combination is now in high nostalgic demand. This coin weighs around 3.56 grams, copper-plated bronze composition, which in original fresh condition looked bright, deep, warm copper tone, but your coin is very rusty, which actually add more emotional museum-type character to advanced collectors because it proves natural raw life happened to this coin over 53 years rather than someone artificially cleaning or polishing it to fake shine. Rust plus natural toning plus age surface equals high authenticity emotional proof. Key fact remain this is a first ever decimal year penny, produced in massive quantity. However, most are now destroyed, thrown away, lost in scrap, metal melted, lost in soil, mixed in junk boxes, and very few original 1971 survival units in natural, untouched, rusty aging scenic form remain today. So the rarity here is not production rarity, it is survivor rarity. Because of this, demand is increasing every single year mainly in USA, UAE, Singapore, Hong Kong, and private UK premium collectors for natural, rustic, raw condition British history pieces. In today's coin market, even in rusty condition, this coin can fetch anywhere between $500 to $800 for fast sale casually, and in slow targeted collector sale you could even see selected buyers going $1,000 to $3,000 depending on rust pattern, uniqueness of color, natural oxidation tone, and display visual appeal. Some dealers are quietly already speculating these will go much higher within the next 4 to 7 years because once Queen Elizabeth II early portrait nostalgia reaches peak escalated desire, these coins become historical time capsules. Collectors who want to hold these should never clean them, never polish them, never remove rust because original natural condition always sells more premium and top specialist buyers only want untouched naturally aged surfaces. Store it dry, airtight, protect from further active decay, and hold because demand curve is rising not falling, and this coin category has not even gone mainstream boom yet. Therefore, in conclusion, This very rusty 1971 UK 1 penny is not trash metal. This is a historical British decimal era first-year birth coin with cultural emotional connection to the Queen and to every Briton who lived through decimal transition. Demand is increasing every year from collectors who want pure, original, rusty survival specimens, and this exact condition could easily be a sleeper coin that explodes silently in price later. This is why I highly recommend keeping it safe and holding it, because time itself is now working in your favor for this coin's future numismatic upward value trajectory. At number 2, the year 1994, even in dirty and unattractive condition, becomes a surprisingly opportunistic find for those who understand the future premium curve and future desirability rules. Many people in the UK still throw these away or ignore them because they believe modern decimals are worthless and not old enough to ever hit rarity levels. But history has already proved multiple times that coins which appear extremely common today eventually overnight become impossible to reobtain once the bulk supply of original circulation pieces get destroyed, corroded, or lost forever. This coin therefore becomes an interesting silent sleeper candidate that smart collectors start stacking early, before the wave begins. This 1994 1 penny comes from the Queen Elizabeth II decimal copper-plated steel phase, where the Royal Mint had perfected industrial math reduction while still maintaining beautiful traditional British symbolism. On the obverse, you get the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which still remains emotionally cultural for UK-based collectors, especially now that this era has ended permanently. On the reverse, you get the royal badge-style portcullis with chains, which represents not only British Parliament and traditional royal authority, but the classic powerful shield symbolism, which always creates strong nostalgic attraction. Even though this coin in the hand right now is dirty and not visually appealing, the storyline attached to the year becomes more valuable every single decade because it directly belongs to a now-closed monarch timeline, which new collectors will chase heavily in the future. Culturally, this coin is important because it represents the everyday money, the real people's money, the boots-on-the-ground circulating British coinage which carried memories of markets, buses, school shops, 90s UK football era, corner shops, and weekend pocket money of an entire generation. Historically, this becomes valuable because ordinary circulation coins now represent a documentary timeline in metal, especially when the Queen Elizabeth II era can no longer ever be minted again. The weight of this coin is around 3.56 grams, which still feels naturally correct and realistic compared to many modern ultra-lightweight coins which lack that historical weight appeal. Key facts also include the high mintage but also the extremely high destruction and loss ratio, which means surviving original circulation pieces in future decades will shrink aggressively, and this is exactly what creates the high demand curve. Rarity at this moment may not look extreme, but rarity is not always about present time scarcity. Rarity is formed by survival numbers in future decades. Dainty condition coins today which remain structurally intact and not corroded through a potential future upgrades because professional conservation cleaning and professional numismatic restoration industries are increasing rapidly, and these coins become future restoration projects that collectors invest in before the restoration era price boom begins. Collector demand for Elizabeth II decimals is on uplift mode, especially internationally because of the monarchy transition, and because low dollar entry price gives non-UK collectors powerful psychological advantage to enter the asset without fear of high-cost failure. This is why these coins will not remain low value forever. Current market value in dollars today for a 1994 UK 1 penny coin in dirty circulated condition is normally between $1,500 and $4,500 range, depending on eye appeal and how evenly dirty the surfaces are. But premium collectors who like building full condition diversity sets sometimes pay higher bids because they want natural true circulation pieces exactly how the public used them historically. Smart collectors should begin stacking these coins now and store them in climate-stable environment because once melted weight destruction kicks in and scrap metal extraction in future decades accelerates, this coin becomes a proper sleeper long-term decimal spend coin that gains momentum the same way older UK bronze pennies did after the 1960s era. In conclusion, this coin should not be taken lightly or dismissed as ordinary worthless modern currency. This coin is a cultural memory piece, a closed monarch-era representation, and a future strong potential decimal sleeper, which is still cheap enough to accumulate bulk quantities now while the world still does not care enough. This is exactly how collectors win in numismatics, and this is how strong low-budget coin players transform cheap dirty coins into future compounding assets. At number 3, the year 1999 in a dilapidated, harsh circulated condition. Do not ever underestimate it. because this is exactly the type of unexpected sleeper coin from the modern UK era that collectors are now chasing with greed, interest, research behavior, and hidden agenda approach. Today, people are going back more deeply into late 90s copper-plated steel pennies because these are now becoming fascinating cultural markers of the switch in the last breath years before the millennium, and the 1999 penny is part of that final decade journey where small denomination UK coins documented the behavioral changes of an entire nation in spending patterns, recessions, retail growth, and worldwide British coin desirability. Even if this coin looks abused, scratched, overly circulated, dull surface, or very poorly stored, this doesn't lower the emotional coin market pool. It actually increases attraction because it shows honest real-time UK circulation history with originality unedited in its raw state. The background of the 1999 penny becomes more interesting when you remember that this was the final era before digital cash and debit card majority took over the UK. This was still active heavy real money usage, people buying groceries, parking machines, public phones, sweet shops, London travel machines. This coin actually lived through the last pure cash world that Generation Z and current younger audience never experienced fully. That raw representation makes this coin now more emotionally valuable to numismatics and cultural collectors worldwide, especially US collectors who aggressively target British pennies as historic foreign investment pieces. The cultural value of this specific year is high because it stands as an actual physical reference point of the UK's identity before the millennium flip, and before the currency started losing its everyday mass-handling status. The weight of the official 1999 UK penny is around 3.56 grams and is copper-plated steel composition, which again give it that iconic magnetic steel switch story, which is a major talking topic for modern coin collectors. Even in harsh, weak condition, the technical specification of this coin still remains strong because you can still study mintage details, rim distance, portrait strike, surface age erosion, and plating aging. You cannot ignore the key factors that make this penny special for today's collector environment. The year 1999 is now becoming highly researched by coin investors because late 1990s UK currency is now starting to dry out in premium condition, and dilapidated condition pieces actually becoming the future historical proof pieces. This is why this type of embarrassment condition coin is still confidently saleable and no longer rejected. This is a turning point coin age group where damaged condition is not automatically worthless anymore. In rarity structure terms today, a dilapidated 1999 UK penny still holds strong interest, and even though millions were minted, the surviving pool of original late 90s circulation condition is not openly available. Serious collectors who are documenting physical historic circulation prefer this type of heavily used penny because it is evidence-based history, not a fabricated modern graded piece. This exact survival era makes demand surprisingly high. In present coin market tendencies, active numismatic buyers and US-based UK coin hunters are paying around $750 up to $1,200 for harsh circulated, extremely worn examples depending on what type of plating erosion, surface originality, raw eye appeal, and surviving detail structure still remains visible. Special odd toning, industrial damage style, metal reaction aging, and unusual pattern wear types can push this higher because collectors now want visually dramatic story pieces. Collectors who want to extract the most advantage from these coins should always store them dry, avoid further metal breakdown, keep them in individual coin flips, never overclean them, and document the era and discovery story because story-based coins sell faster and higher in the present market. The final conclusion is extremely bright and positive. The 1999 UK penny, even in dilapidated, poor structural state, is absolutely a growing demand modern British numismatic target coin. It is connected to the emotional closing decade of physical cash Britain, and is now becoming a sought-after investment opportunity material internationally. If you locate one, do not throw it aside, because these are the exact pennies rising quietly in value and becoming desirable future market winners. At number 4, the 1990 UK 1 penny coin in a dated condition. Many casual viewers might instantly assume it has no significant value. They might think it is simply a normal penny that was once in every wallet and pocket in Britain. However, in today's modern numismatic environment where collectors are aggressively hunting, where coin history is turning into private investment, where older circulating era pieces from the late 80s and 90s are becoming extremely relevant again due to low survival of higher grade pieces and natural metal deterioration, this simple 1990 penny suddenly becomes a silent financial opportunity. A dirty condition specimen still brings intrigue because it represents circulation reality. It shows authentic British handling from a specific era, and this is exactly what strengthens collector emotional connection. The backdrop of this 1990 penny is extremely interesting because this was still raw post-80s money power period. The United Kingdom had highly cultural active economy. People spent cash every single moment, and pennies were truly in every transaction everywhere. The reverse still used the crown portcullis design, which is connected strongly with traditional Westminster iconography and historically represents the symbolic guarded entrance of Parliament power. This alone makes this coin culturally powerful for British heritage because it carries political architectural legacy. When we look at the obverse portrait, we see young Queen Elizabeth II, sovereign authority era preserved into copper-plated steel form. These features create cultural and historical depth, which newer modern copper-plated pennies simply do not have today. The weight of this 1990 penny is approximately 3.56 grams. That exact mass point is important because from 1992 onwards a penny changed into copper-plated steel permanently, and even though 1990 also uses copper-plated steel in certain mint production, the transitional era series coins are highly studied and widely documented globally by UK collectors. This is why people chase this late 80s to early 90s transitional one-penny spectrum so aggressively, because this exact part of history will not ever be repeated again in UK numismatic evolution. Important information for buyers is that this coin from 1990, even in dirty state, still holds strong desirability, because collectors today want real circulated evidence of era history. The rarity extreme is not like Victorian-level rarity, but what makes this coin move strongly today is condition scarcity of untouched original datey circulated survivors. Most that remain today have been cleaned badly, washed incorrectly, destroyed edges, damaged surfaces, and the natural original dirt condition is now becoming more demanded because serious collectors prefer untouched surfaces that prove genuineness. That is why demand is rising year by year, especially from the USA market, where UK pennies are becoming extremely targeted micro-investment items. In terms of present value in today's United States dollar market, these 1990 UK pennies in dirty but genuine circulated authentic condition normally can move anywhere around $1,500 to even sometimes $4,000 to $6,000 depending on exact surface originality and who is bidding. Certain buyers who chase specific pattern or patterns sometimes pay slightly more because they need that specific natural dark tone for their series build. The more preserved it is without cleaning, without chemical removal, without force polishing, the stronger the value potential can be. Collectors who want to increase future value should avoid cleaning, avoid metal alteration, avoid polishing, avoid scrubbing because original dirt and original age appearance is now proven to be more desirable by serious UK penny collectors. Store them inside soft capsule. Keep humidity moderate, avoid corrosion acceleration, and allow the patina to naturally stay intact. The overall conclusion for the 1990 UK one penny in dirty condition is extremely attractive. This is a coin that looks cheap to a normal person, but to someone who understands numismatic evolution, this coin holds competitive leverage for future value growth. It is low entry cost, high historical emotional value, strong cultural British representation, and increasing in global dollar trading attraction every single year. This is exactly why this penny is a powerful sleeper, and this is exactly why serious collectors are quietly securing these before the price movement goes dramatically higher later. At last, a United Kingdom one-penny coin from the year 1996 in normal circulating condition. A coin that seemed so innocent and so tiny in purchasing power originally, but now this is entering a stage where collectors across eBay, Etsy, coin fairs, coin expo shows, and private dealers are beginning to attack these lightly circulated pennies as they realize market volume is tightening. Survival numbers are shrinking and the cultural rebound of UK copper bronze and copper-plated steel small denominations is increasing aggressively. This is not just an ordinary penny story. This is a real-world small denomination treasure mentality that is changing in real time. The origin story of this 1996 penny goes back to when the United Kingdom was still in a completely different cultural mindset economically and socially. People spent pennies without thinking. The coin was part of the third portrait era of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The reverse design featured the crown portcullis, which symbolizes a powerful identity link with UK Parliament and the deep-rooted system of UK governance and representation. This single penny connects to the living daily life of every household and every generation in the 90s. Small value coins actually represent the cultural record of how society behaved financially and historically. These copper-plated steel pennies are part of the historical chapter that built the modern cash era before contactless even existed. The weight of the 1996 penny is 3.56 grams, and this exact weight specification is critical because collectors look at weight as part of authentication, verification, and origin accuracy. This weight data allows collectors to also spot misstrikes, wrong planches, wrong metal presses, and mint errors more effectively. Every serious coin grader in the UK or USA today will always note weight first before grading visually. This weight is part of what makes this an academically significant research coin. The most important thing about the 1996 circulating penny today is how demand has shifted. It is no longer the huge mint numbers that matter. It is a survival rate in present time. Many of these 1996 coins are heavily damaged, corroded, lost, cleaned, scratched, and no longer usable for collector grade. Circulated condition examples are now being pulled out and stored before further deterioration happens. The modern TikTok or YouTube coin hunt trend is pushing values higher because collectors now see even circulating condition examples as an early small-cap investment starter coin. In current US dollar value today, a circulating 1996 penny, depending on eye appeal, low corrosion level and original tone, can trade between $2,000 to $3,000 and sometimes slightly high if collector wants an exact date match set filler. This is extremely positive because this coin was just one penny face value originally, so the ROI curve is shockingly good for those who are bulk hoarding these. Demand will not decrease. Demand is climbing yearly because UK copper era nostalgia is exploding internationally. For collectors wanting to take advantage of this small denomination movement, the intelligent strategy is not to underestimate circulating conditions. 90s UK pocket change era is beginning to become the next hunt frontier. Store them correctly, never overclean them. Keep natural tone, keep original patina to protect heritage value, and never rush to sell bulk piles too early. The real money will come when international buyers run out of supply and late collectors start chasing gaps in their sets. In final closing, the 1996 UK 1 penny is entering a high demand phase that is only rising more aggressively from this point forward, and this is a time where early accumulators will gain the most benefit. What was once a single penny spent without thought is now a tiny historical capsule with cultural weight, real identity, and genuine collector desirability attached to it. Never underestimate small denominations again, because this is exactly how expensive collections begin.